Hello everyone, my name is Miss Campos and I am a reading specialist at Central Middle School. I will use this platform to share weekly reading strategies to practice at home with you and your family. Each day I will have a focus skill. Today is day 1 and we will focus on vocabulary. A good reader must have a good understanding of vocabulary. How can we group and categorize vocabulary words to help with our understanding? Keep watching and I will show you how. This triangle helps us categorize vocabulary words into 3 tiers. The bottom tier is the largest and is words that are commonly used in our language. They are easy to understand. We use them every day. We use them in our writing. No one needs to define them for us. Tier 2 is the academic vocabulary words. It's in the middle of the triangle. These words are most commonly found in written text, and they might also have multiple meanings. Tier 3 vocabulary words is at the very top of the triangle. It's the smallest triangle. These are words that we might need to look up their definition, and we don't commonly use in our language every day. We might have to think about their meaning. So let's take a look at examples. So a word like number, it's very simple. A lot of us know what that means, can use it in a sentence. We don't need definition. This is an example of a tier 1 vocabulary word. Another example is plant. An example of a tier 2 academic word is the word revise. We can revise our work or our assignment. We can revise an equation or a math problem. Another example is the word engineer. Engineer means to build or create something, can be used as a verb. Is also someone that works in a field of building, like an architect or a scientist. An example of a tier 3 content word. You will find these words more specifically in a subject area or your class. For example, denominator, you know right away, is from your math class. So that would be a tier 3 content word. We don't commonly use the word denominator in our everyday common language. And when we use this word, like denominator, we're talking about a math-related subject. So that's why it belongs in the tier 3, the very top. Another example of a vocabulary word in tier 3 is syntax. Syntax means the structure of a sentence. So we're talking about a language arts class, a grammar class, or an English class. So tier 3 content words are related to your class in a subject area, very specific. Tier 2 are academic words. Sometimes they're telling you to do something like a verb, design, to produce, create, to engineer, for example. And then the tier 1, the bottom part of our triangle, are commonly used words that we can spell and we don't need a definition. Let's take a look at other examples and think about where would these words fall under these 3 tiers. Right now, our schools are closed because of a virus. The word virus, do you think belongs in a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 category? If you guessed tier 2, you are correct. For tier 1, we can say the word germ or germs. It's more commonly used. And then a tier 3 content word related to these subject, related to this topic, would be COVID-19. That's a more specific medical term that would have to be better explained. A doctor would better explain, or someone in the medical field, what the COVID means exactly. A lot of us generally understand that there's germs and we have to be careful of. And then more specifically, as an academic word, we would use the word virus. Let's try other words. Here I have the word learn. Would it be tier 3, tier 2, or a tier 1 word? If you guessed tier 1, you are correct. Learn is easily understood. If we come across this word in a book or read it somewhere, we know what it means. Pedagogy. If you guessed tier 3, you are correct. Pedagogy is the art of teaching. It is related to a field, to a subject specifically. We don't commonly use this word often, and if we come across it, we might have to have some background knowledge about this word and what it means to understand it. Some of us might even have to look it up to find this meaning. The word instruct, you guessed correctly. It is an academic word. We will find it most likely in written text, and it could have multiple meanings as well. Keep this triangle in mind as you're learning through vocabulary words or come across words you don't understand. Which tier would it belong to? Is it a word I already know? Is it a word that I might have to use a dictionary and look up? I'm going to leave you a list of words, and I'd like you to think, how would you categorize these words, and in which tier would you place these words? I hope you enjoyed this quick activity that you can do at home when it comes to learning vocabulary words. Don't forget to look at those words that I put at the end of the video to sort them in different tiers. Stay tuned for day 2 of our next instruction. See ya!